4th place. Come on. Come on. That had to have done it.
Remember me? I used to make YouTube videos. Now I know what you're thinking. Jack Galactic, 6 months ago you said you were quitting YouTube. Well, actually, I didn't say that. I said I was just going to stop uploading on this channel. If you actually go back and watch that video, I said that I was going to try to start another YouTube channel. And I did do that. In fact, I released 3 videos on that channel. And all 3 of them got exactly 2 views apiece. So I did, as it were, quit YouTube for about 4 or 5 months. I quit YouTube. And I really didn't have any plans to come back. But something happened that I had to document. After 2 years of trying, I finally hit Unreal. Ever since they dropped Ranked in Chapter 4, I have been trying to camp my way to Unreal. In fact, when I started trying to do that, I had never even heard of Bush Camp Dad. I wasn't even sure if it was possible to camp your way to Unreal. It actually took me discovering Bush Camp Dad to give me the motivation to go, you know what? If he can do it, I can do it too. Only problem was I was never getting anywhere close. My first several seasons of playing, I only made it to like Plat 1 or Plat 2, maybe Plat 3. I didn't even hit Diamond till like my, 4th or 5th season of trying to grind rank. And even then, I wasn't making it very far. In fact, previous to this season, there was only one season that I even hit Elite. And I only did it about, 6 or 7 days before the end of the season. So I knew that there was going to be no chance I was going to be able to hit Unreal that season. Now, I haven't played Ranked every single season. There's been some seasons that I barely played, maybe got up to Gold 2, Gold 3, and just said, that's it. I'm done with Ranked for this season. There's been a couple seasons that I didn't play any Ranked at all. I just played pubs matches. But with this season, I don't know, man, something happened. Like I had a fire that got lit under me, and I made a lot of progress really quickly, which kept me motivated to keep grinding. But I got to say, I had no idea how hard this journey was going to be. There's a couple different things that happened this season that actually allowed for me to finally hit Unreal. Things that didn't really apply in previous seasons. First and foremost, before they even dropped Ranked this season, if you remember at the start of this season, for the first 2 weeks, there was no Ranked. It was just pubs matches. And I was kind of going, man, what's going on? Are they getting rid of Ranked? I mean, what's happening? But then they announced that not only was Ranked coming, but they announced that placement points was going to have more of an effect on Ranked than it had in previous seasons. Now, what does that mean? Truth be told, once I started getting into like the Plat lobbies, the Diamond lobbies, I didn't really notice a huge difference. But definitely in those early lobbies, man, Bronze, Silver, Gold, I was flying through the ranks. Like literally 2 or 3 games, I'd be through a whole section. Bronze 1, maybe 2 games, boom, I was Bronze 2. 2 or 3 games, Bronze 3. Same thing all the way through Silver, pretty much all the way through Gold. It didn't start slowing down a little bit till I hit Plat. But even that, I breezed through Plat compared to, how it has went in the previous seasons that I've made it that far. And I hit Diamond relatively quickly. And even once I hit Diamond, 2 hours, maybe 3 hours of grinding, boom, I was through that next level, going on to the next one. Even truth be told, hitting Elite wasn't that difficult, and working through Elite really wasn't that difficult. It was only about 3 or 3.5 hours to get through Elite. Things started slowing down once I hit Champion, though. That's where it got tough. And I was in uncharted water. I had never made it this far before. And I honestly still wasn't sure if I was going to make it to Unreal. But I kept grinding, I kept working, and lo and behold, eventually I got there. So obviously, Epic changing sort of the criteria and getting a little more weight for placement than you had previously absolutely helped my cause. And if it wasn't for that, I definitely don't think I would have made it to Elite. But that wasn't the only thing that helped me get there this season. if you've watched some of my previous videos where I talk about camping, or if you've ever seen me in a live stream, you know that there is one aspect of camping that I have borrowed from Bush Camp Dad, which is to wait till you get to the very end of the bus route, hop out, pop your glider, coast to the middle of the map, and then pick your landing spot based on where the storm is in relation to the zone. The edge of the zone that is closest to the storm is generally going to be the direction that the storm pulls. You may still have to rotate in, but you're not going to have to rotate very far, and you're certainly not going to be caught up where you've got to rotate through most of the map to get to the zone. You're going to be pretty close. I focused on that a lot compared to some previous seasons. I've always done that a lot, but there were some seasons where I would prefer to just keep landing in the same spot over and over and over and over, with really no concern for where it fell within the zones. But this season, I've really focused on trying to pick, I had spots, two or three different spots across the map, just depending on where the zones were going to be pulling. Okay, I can land here, or I can land here, or I can land there. And just having those, 3 or so spots, and I learned them pretty well, and I learned how to rotate through them and how to loot through them, so that I was able to put together some pretty consistent, pretty solid games. Another aspect that I borrowed from Bush Camp this season was doing the balloon camping, where I would, instead of landing on the map, I would actually land on the balloon and let the balloon take me around the map. Now, truth be told, I would have picked up on that on my own. As far back as I can remember, I loved to land on high spots in the map and kind of just chill there as long as I could. In Chapter 5, I landed on the Mount Olympus statue. I used to land on one of the wings, and I would just sit up there at the top of the wing and wait until the zone forced me to move. In Chapter 6, I would land at one of the peaks of the Shining Expanse Bridge, a spot that you could not get to unless you landed there while you were gliding in. There was really no way to get up there. A bouncer wouldn't take you far enough. A shockwave wouldn't take you that high. And it was really a pretty safe place to land if you could get it. There was a very narrow window where you could actually land on it. I mean, if you were off by just millimeters, boom, you'd coast right by. But if you could land on that peak, 9 out of 10 games, people never even saw me. I mean, every once in a while someone would see me and try to shoot at me up there, but most of the time I was safe and just would sit up there as long as I could. So having that history of landing at high points and just coasting and chilling, I would have started landing on the balloons on my own anyway. But as it were, I saw Bush Camp talk about it, and I was like, oh, I'm going to give that a shot. And that definitely helped. Now, I will say it didn't help me as much as edge camping, getting on the edge of the zone closest to the storm and just trying to stay as far to the edge as I could. That helped me a lot more, and it got me a lot further in the games than riding out the balloons would. But, after 4 or 5 tough games where it was, up and down, back and forth, not making a lot of progress, it was really good for my mental well-being to just land on a balloon and just chill for the first 10 minutes of the game. But really the big thing that helped me get there, and I truly believe is the primary reason I was able to hit Unreal, full shout out goes to the wingsuit. If it had not been for the wingsuit, I really don't think I would have been able to do it, because there were so many end games where I was just wingsuiting from zone to zone to zone that I would have never been able to rotate on foot. It just wouldn't happen. I mean, there'd be shooting going on all around me, and I would just wingsuit to a safe spot. Being able to do that, I was able to get much further into the games, some of the games anyway, than I would have otherwise been able to do. There were still plenty of times. I mean, there's times I got shot out of the air wingsuiting through. There was times where I landed in what I thought was a safe spot, and there was someone camping in a bush or behind a building somewhere, and they just immediately took me out. But, all of my furthest placement games, my top 5s, my top 3s, my top 2s, all of them happened because of the wingsuit. And if it hadn't been for that, I really don't think that I would have made it. And the last thing was just persistence. I just kept at it. I devoted more time to ranked this season than I have probably any other season. It was a solid 2-month grind. And I just kept at it. Every time I played, I wouldn't goof off in pubs. I wouldn't go play Blitz. I would just immediately drop into rank, and I would try to grind. And I would try to grind for longer durations than I normally do. There's a lot of times where I'll just sit down and just play the game for like an hour or so, maybe an hour and a half. I had a lot of sessions that went for 2 hours, 3 hours, 4 hours. And especially once I hit Champion, it took me just over 10 hours of playing in Champion over 3 different days to finally get to Unreal. And it was actually funny because that last day, I got up to about 50% of the way through Champion fairly quickly. I think it was, 3-4 hours, something like that. And then I had, about a 5-hour session where I went up and down, up and down. I got up to like 95% twice. I got up to 92, 93%. And then I kept falling back down to like 80%. And it was rough, man. It was really demoralizing. And part of me wanted to quit, but I knew I was so close that I couldn't quit. So I kept on grinding, and wouldn't you know it, I loaded up on a Sunday, and it took me 2 games and I got there. So it was a lot of fun. So I guess the question is going to be, what now? I said I was leaving YouTube, but here I am making this video. Am I going to continue to make videos on YouTube? I don't know. Maybe. Am I going to make Fortnite videos? I mean, I love Fortnite. I love making Fortnite videos, but I just don't have much to offer the YouTube scene. Maybe more commentary videos. I was doing a lot of commentary videos lately, and I liked doing those, but a lot of the times I felt like I didn't really have anything insightful or thoughtful to say. But I might try to continue to do some Fortnite commentary videos because it is fun. I enjoy it. But the thing that I'm kind of thinking about a lot is, they say 2026, it's the year we're finally going to get GTA 6. I have never played a GTA game all the way through. I dabbled in all the way back in the day in like GTA 3 and like Vice City, but I never owned a GTA game. So GTA 6 is actually going to be the first GTA that I ever own. But I definitely plan on buying the game, and I plan on streaming it all the way through. And I probably will release videos on it, both playthrough videos, and I'd really like to kind of, find some of those crazy hidden things in GTA that, GTA 5 had a lot of them. I'm sure GTA 6 is going to have even more. We got a long ways to go. That's not going to come out till the fall, but hopefully between now and then I can think of some cool video ideas to bring you in the meantime, just for fun, as a hobby. But until then, I'm going to go ahead and end the video right here. I appreciate you guys watching this. Thank you for checking out my first time hitting Unreal. Peace.
Oh, 4th place. Come on. Come on. That had to have done it. Yes! Yes! Ah, man, that feels good. That feels good. All right. I finally did it. After 2 years. Whew.